Good morning. Well, we made it to another Friday, and I want to do something a little bit different today and tomorrow. It's going to be a two-part devotional. I want you to see a story, and I'll talk about one aspect of it today and another aspect tomorrow. You may have seen this on the news in Grenoble, France last week. A high-rise apartment complex caught on fire. And there were two children, a 10-year-old and a 3-year-old, trapped in an apartment several stories up. And it looked very dire, but some people on the ground, just ordinary citizens, encouraged them to jump. And they promised that they would catch them. And so the 10-year-old first held his 3-year-old brother out of the window and dropped the brother, and the crowd caught the brother. And then the 10-year-old climbed out and kind of hung on for a second, and then he dropped, and they caught him. And so I want you to see that story right now. When I heard that story, I couldn't help but think of the wonderful verse that you may know from Deuteronomy 32:11. God is like an eagle hovering over its nest, overshadowing its young, then spreading its wings, lifting them into the air, teaching them to fly. There is this wonderful image of the eagle high above the nest, but with that eagle's eye, always keeping an eye on the chicks, making sure that they are safe. And then as the chicks begin to learn to fly, they get on the edge of the nest and they take off, and sometimes instead of flying, they fall. And the eagle swoops down beneath them and lets them land on it. And on the wings of the eagle lifts the babies back up. That's what this is talking about. And this story about in France reminds me of that, because God only lets us fall so far. We think that we are going to fall and fall and fall and fall forever, but God only lets us fall so far. I'm reminded of a story some years ago of a pastor whose family was killed in a car accident. And of course he needed to take some time off to try to recover and to grieve. And the congregation just a marvelous job of taking care of him and supporting him during that terrible, terrible time. And when finally he returned to the pulpit and stood in the pulpit the first time, his first words were, "I've been to the bottom and I've found that it is solid." And we are promised that when we find ourselves falling, thinking that we're never going to hit, or thinking that we are going to hit and it's going to be a terrible thing, when we get to the bottom, even when it's the very bottom, we will find it is solid. That is because God will only let us fall so far. And so if you are going through a time of discouragement or pain or difficulty right now, know that even if you hit rock bottom for God is solid. You will not fall forever, and God will lift us back up on wings of eagles. We know this is true because God is with us. Tune in tomorrow for part 2. Amen.